Live again. Okay, we'll start our next public meeting, Commissioners Court, Liberty County. It's October 13th, the day after. What day? Columbus Day, yeah, that's right. Okay. This is updated, proposed update Liberty County flood prevention ordinance. That's a pretty hot topic for such a wet subject, but anyway. Take a stare at it. Anyway, Dave, if you would come on up and run down to us.
All right, Judge, we got an ordinance in place with FEMA, and it's an old ordinance, been around a long time. And again, it's very similar to the OSSF. It needs to be updated. We're in the process of having a visit from FEMA. And one of the reasons I want to get this in place is to be able to provide it to them and show them that we are working to enforce our regulations. Okay. There are 5 major changes. The first of these would be to increase the level above finished floor grade in flood zones. Right now, we require that a structure have a finished floor elevation 1 foot above the base flood elevation.
We've learned that's not near enough.
That's not enough. So we're going to 2 feet on that, which is very common. Chambers County has already done this. In fact, they did it 18 months ago. We're shifting off to Atlas 14 on our rainfall calculations. That is the process now that's accepted by everybody. I call LJA Engineering, and they recommend that we approve it. The building and development permits will be required throughout the county. And the reason that's in there is right now, we've never had a way to enforce someone not getting a permit. And if we never see these people, we don't know what elevation issues are out there. Mm-hmm. So I spoke with the sheriff, and he is in agreement that his people will issue citations for structures that go up without permits. That's pretty much the major changes.
That's only in the unincorporated areas of the county?
Only in the unincorporated areas.
Okay.
Of course, the sheriff's people will be working with the designated representatives in my department. And again, we just have a real issue with structures going up out there with no building permit. And then we find out later on that they're subject to flooding.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of structure are you talking about?
Mainly homes.
Homes?
Yes,
sir. I mean, not somebody want to build a shed or a barn?
No, sir.
And how far are we going to go back on this? I mean, if we go out
We'll start from today.
from today.
Okay.
So if someone builds
Well,
it,
actually, let me retract that. We start when FEMA approves this because it has to be submitted to FEMA.
so we won't start looking until structures that are built after FEMA accepts this.
That's good.
Okay.
Jerry, I think a lot of these up and down the Trinity River, so a lot of it follow your jurisdiction.
I'm sure they do.
But that's pretty much covers the changes that we have here.
Mm-hmm. Pretty common sense issue.
Very much.
It really is considered. I understand, the construction permits will go up a little bit because they have to go from 1 feet to 2 feet, but still, most people I talk to that build now will look at the elevation of the major road that's in front of their home or whatever.
And we always advise people to go 2 feet.
Yeah.
Above the elevation of the center line of the road in front of their house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's just a homespun rule.
Yeah.
By golly, it's pretty good.
Pretty darn good, yeah. Okay. As far as these permits are concerned, you will instruct persons to have these displayed on site, correct? Or-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, we already require that building permits be displayed on the site.
just want to make that clarification, because some folks go like, well, how do we know?
Yeah,
Now you know.
What exactly is the elevation right now?
it's different all over the county.
Right, so, I mean, going by the benchmarks that are out there, or
What you do is, there's a map service, FEMA map service center. And you go on there and you look for the geographical location of the structure. And then you hope that FEMA has designated benchmark elevations. Some areas don't have a benchmark. And that really creates a problem, because then I have to find a benchmark that is as close as possible and march it into that area. And that's a very unprecise science.
Mhm. Well, with GPS, the way it is now, it's gotten a little better.
Yes,
I mean, there's a benchmark here, you know, so. And even at Dr. McDonald's office, that was,
unfortunately, there are not a lot of benchmarks along the trail.
you know, they're not.
Further questions?
I have no further questions.
Greg, anything? Leon, you got anything?
I've got a question on that.
I'm kind of lost here, David. This is for permitting only?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. You indicated that, you're wanting 2 foot above the center line of the roadway.
That's just a little homespun recommendation that if people ask me, that's what I tell them. The regulation requires that they be 2 feet above FEMA's base flood elevation. And that base flood elevation can be located in the FEMA Map Service Center. That's an electronic mapping center that I access almost daily.
Okay. So are you accessing that, or would it be to them to access that?
Excuse me, Commissioner, I didn't.
If you were going to issue a permit to me, would you be the one that makes the indication of the FEMA floodplain, or would it be them?
Well, my permit clerks check these building permits as they come in to see whether they're in a flood prone area. And then if they've got one that's over in a floodway or a floodplain, then they bring me into it and we decide what the client needs to do to secure a permit.
Okay. Now I understand.
Bill?
Yeah, excuse me, you're talking about a construction permit or
Building
permit for elevation only.
Yes.
Because when you get into building permit, now we think about building codes.
Yeah.
So,
We already issued a building permit.
right,
And what we would look at is the elevation, and then if there's a failure to secure a building permit, then we would have a cycle situation. So you gotta get permits. When you get a permit, it'll tell us whether or not you're in a floodway or a floodplain. Sounds good. Any further questions, gentlemen?
You not got anything else? Matthew?
No.
Catherine?
I'll be honest with you, I would have preferred that the DRs in my department handle citations, but Matthew looked into that for me, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. So the Honorable Sheriff has agreed to help me out.
Good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. We'll close out this public hearing.